Today, I'm going to be testing 3 of Ludwig and Michael's favorite dishes from Tip2Tip and to see if they live up to the hype.
Oh, wow. Whoa. That's good.
Our son, 8-9.
Ludwig and Michael had Big Pot Chicken in Sanxi when they were still riding through a section of the 208 that was under construction. It was raining that night and they were just able to find a hotel right before it started to get dark. And honestly, Big Pot Chicken was the best thing that could have happened to them. Look at the amount of aromatics this dish calls for. There's no way this could be bad. This chicken that I'm using is from Costco and it only cost $4. I'm pretty new at breaking down chicken, but I found it to be pretty easy so far. All you have to do is to follow where the joint is and cut around it, and it sort of comes apart. We're gonna blanch the chicken in hot water for just a couple seconds to wash off the blood and all the scum. The chicken wing tip still had a bunch of feathers in it, so I threw those out. These are all the dry spices that we're gonna be using. Only the dry chilies need to be soaked in water so it doesn't burn. Time to cook the chicken. First thing we're gonna do is put in some oil. We're gonna use this to caramelize the sugar. This part actually takes a bit of skill. The difference between the perfect caramel color and burnt sugar is only a couple of seconds. This technique is called 糖色, or literally sugar color. It's pretty commonly used in braised meat dishes in China. It gives the chicken this beautiful caramel color and it balances the heavy, savory, and spicy flavors that come later on. This is spicy soybean paste, and it's actually only used in Big Pot Chicken in the region that Ludwig and Michael visited. It smells so good. After the aromatics are cooked through, in goes in the dry peppers, soy sauce, and dark soy sauce. No measurements here, it's all vibes based. I'm adding just enough hot water so it covers most of the chicken. I'm gonna let it stew for 40 minutes. I really wish you could smell this through the screen, it's incredible. Because the potato takes shorter time to cook, we're gonna only leave it in there for 15 minutes. We're gonna cook our noodles separately so it doesn't overcook. If you're curious about how to make these noodles, check the link in the description, they're super simple to make. Fresh noodles are super easy to overcook. They take no more than 45 seconds in the pot. After reducing on high heat, we're gonna add in our noodles. Look at the way the sauce hangs on the noodles, it looks incredible. Alright, let's try the chicken. Oh, that is so good. The meat in here is still juicy, and the flavor has like penetrated all the way to the bone. Potato is really creamy. I give this dish overall a 9 out of 10.
That's good. That's a yummy thing.
The tofu is genuinely awesome because whatever this sauce is like...
It's so good, and also like the chunk of meat in each one makes me happy.
The second dish I'm making is nyang tofu. The braised tofu is a specialty dish from southern China, specifically the Guangxi, Guangdong area. The star of this dish is the ground pork filling. I'm mincing scallions and these mini onions to add to the pork for an extra layer of texture. Chopping these onions were absolutely brutal. For seasoning, I'm using soy sauce, salt, a bit of cooking sherry, which is meant to minimize any unpleasant flavors in the pork, a bit of ground white pepper, and cornstarch to bind everything together so the pork doesn't just fall apart in the pan. Again, no measurements, everything here is based on feelings. Mix everything together until the cornstarch is fully absorbed by the pork. I'm using firm tofu here, but honestly, you can use whatever firmness level you want, but the softer it is, the easier it is to mess up. There's 2 ways of stuffing the ground pork. One is cutting a slit on the side and stuffing the meat in, so I'm choosing to do it an easier way by just digging a hole on top. Always add the tofu back into the ground pork, no protein goes to waste here. After prepping all the tofu, use your thumb and pointer finger and just squeeze the pork filling through. That automatically gives you a perfect portion to stuff into the tofu. Press the top somewhat flat so there's a bigger surface area to sear later on. Now we're gonna make the sauce. It's a pretty standard brown sauce. I'm using soy sauce, dark soy sauce, about 6 times the volume of the soy sauce in water, white pepper and cornstarch to thicken everything so the sauce clings onto the tofu. It's time to fry the tofu. Add a generous coating of oil to a nonstick pan, and definitely use a nonstick pan or else it's not going to be a fun time. Sear the tofu ground pork side down for 2 to 3 minutes to get a nice crust going. Ideally, you should sear all 6 sides of the tofu, but I got lazy. Get a nice char on the tofu for that extra flavor. In a medium-sized pot, I'm adding a nice coating of oil, then pouring in enough garlic and pearl onions so it completely covers the bottom of the pot. My goal here is to create a barrier between the tofu and the pan so the tofu doesn't burn or stick, and the onion and garlic creates a nice flavor steam that flows to the tofu. Then I pour in the sauce I made earlier. It should just cover the tofu. Let it stew on medium-low for 40 minutes so the flavor can really seep into the tofu.
Oh my god! Wow!
The smell is incredible, and just take a minute to admire how good this looks. I'm garnishing it with fresh scallions to cut through the heavy savory flavors. Alright, let's give it a try. There's so many different textures going on. The filling is so flavorful. The tofu is tender. The flavor from the braise goes all the way in. And you get like a nice chewy exterior too. This one is a 9.5 out of 10.
It's basically chopped up hot dogs.
Like some kind of noodle thing?
Some kind of rice noodle. And some onions. It costs $1.
Good.
How true.
The final dish that we're making today is what Ludwig and Michael had in Kid Town when the kid brought them to this place with a mile long of stalls, and it's called grilled cold noodles. Grilled cold noodles are a super popular snack among school kids in northern China because of how cheap it is. For just $1, you get a full meal with protein, carbs, and veggies. I know what you're thinking, how can it be cold noodles if it's grilled? So the cold noodles actually refer to the type of noodles, which traditionally is served cold. I'm splashing on some water here so it creates steam so the noodle sheets don't get too dry and tough. The egg here actually serves as a structural component that helps hold the sheet of noodle together. These sausages are called huotuichang. They have a taste that's really similar to Spam. Now it's time to brush on the sauce. The sauce is sweet and savory with a slight hint of spiciness. I'm putting on some raw onions and cilantro, but don't worry, they'll be cooked by the end. I then put on the sausage and give it a nice and tight roll. This actually steams the onions and helps it cook all the way through and gets rid of that sharp, pungent taste. I'm finishing it off with another layer of sauce and garnishing it with toasted white sesame seeds and cilantro. Traditionally, you're supposed to cut it up, but my rubber spatula just isn't sharp enough, so I'm gonna leave it be. Let's give it a try. The cold noodles on the edges are nice and crispy. In the middle, it's tender and soft. The sauce pairs really nicely with the noodles, and the cilantro and onions really gives the flavor a punch. I give it a 7 out of 10.